Why not? Live
Go
on
ahead.
stream. Or I mean Twitch.
My
Also
what you call it?
recording, but not on
My
Audacity. I think that doesn't look right. And
should I record in Audacity? Yes. Hello, hello. One, two,
yes,
three, four, five,
yes, you
six.
should. Recording device. Blue icicle. Hello, hello, hello. Loud test. Okay, that's not that bad actually. It's a
I think it's
tiny little
good.
bit of clipping. Just gonna squeak that down ever so slightly. Loud test. Still a bit of. You know what? It's fine. I'm not gonna obsess over it. Um,
Hi, I'm being
I
loud.
think audio test done for me.
Test,
Um,
test. One, two, three. Sí. Bueno, sí. Un, dos. Un, dos. Un, dos, tres. That's how my dad did it.
hmm.
Because did you know that I was a drummer?
I did not.
Fun fact.
And I'm gonna go ahead and start recording in Audacity. Um, for the show.
Good. That's on my end. Okay.
I'm ready to do some room silence. How about you? You want to start at the same time and do some room silence?
Yeah, I've just started recording on Audacity.
Okay,
So click
me
hold.
too. Three, two, one. Room
Just
silence. 30 seconds. Never mind. There's a fucking siren going past my house right now.
oh really? Okay, let's wait a little bit.
Yep. I'm
Okay,
just
because I need to like breathe.
just gonna stop the recording and let it just wait.
Oh, you are?
Okay, siren's gone. Restarting. Okay,
Okay.
I fucked it up. Restarting again.
Ah, fuck. I restarted too, just because.
Okay,
Just started.
just started. All
Okay.
right, room silence starting now.
Okay. Room silence. Room silence. My cats. Should I like?
Don't worry about it.
Okay. One, two, three.
All right, good
That's my
enough.
cat.
Good enough.
Okay. Okay.
Cool, cool, cool.
I I think it's good enough.
Oh, it's definitely fine.
Okay. Uh.
Just fine. Everything's fine. Uh. Oh dear. Oh
Are we
my.
are we live on stream?
Yo, yeah, we're live on stream. We're recording in Audacity. You wanna
Okay.
open us up?
I want to check on Twitch.
Okay, yeah, good plan.
Twitch, Twitch. There we are. Hello.
Woot.
Oh, I feel so proud.
Huzzah.
Oh, we look good. We look
Hey,
good. We
it's
look good.
like we are doing something productive.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my god. Thank God.
Seriously though,
Whew.
right? Am I right or am I right? Right.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So I'm gonna stop referencing dated 90 movies. No, I'm not. I can't even say it with
No.
a straight face. Oh God, I am a dated 90s movie. Anyway, welcome
You
to Wubba
are.
Lubba PodPod. I'm Josh.
I'm Alex. Welcome in, guys. Scooch in, scooch in. Make room for everybody. Come on, cozy up. All together. Are you
Ob-
wearing your Rick and Morty? I'm talking to them.
Undies. I'm wearing my Rick and Morty undies. Or are you talking to the audience? I'll shut up.
Yeah, I'm like, who's this guy? Um, who's this alcoholic
Who's this fucking
person?
asshole? I'm not an
So,
alcoholic. Jeez.
um, you're not? Okay. Sure.
Not yet. I'm up and down. I'm up and
Denial is
down.
a river in Egypt. Your boyfriend is gay. That is a TikTok sound. Are you on TikTok ever? Oh my god.
No. I
Wow.
mean, I see a lot of
I am like,
I see a lot of the short videos on Facebook, which are probably originated mostly from TikTok,
Facebook.
so it's close enough.
Yeah, sure.
Mm. So today on
I'm
Wubba
just
Lubba
baffled
PodPod.
because, anyways, yes. I am wearing pants, so
Oh, well,
that's new.
that is new. Hey, change is good. Change is good. I'm also wearing pants.
And they're jeans.
Yeah, and one of these days,
So like,
I'm gonna not wear pants. I'm gonna give everybody a
well,
nice surprise. I'm gonna do a little
it'll
walk in a little circle for you.
it'll be a special day, for sure.
It will, in fact. It will, in fact. It might be today. It,
Oh God! I
it
don't
might
know.
be
Let me
today.
open. Let me open my
Let's
beer.
see how drunk I
Oh,
get. Let's see how drunk I
yeah.
get. So,
I,
I'm the alcoholic.
let's
Okay.
see.
Um,
Oh, listen. Hold on, one second. Beer doesn't count, right? It's different. It's not
no,
hard liquor.
not at
I
all.
can drink like I can drink an entire six and I'm
I
fine.
mean, if I'm only doing one shot here, that's the same amount of alcohol as one beer,
Salud. Salud. Wait, can we
depending
do
on the
the
beer.
shut up. Can we do the Mexican like cheer situation? Do you know it?
How would I know that?
I don't know, because we're everywhere.
I
We're
mean,
everywhere in the US. Come on.
yeah, I am. I know
You know the
everything.
pa arriba, pa abajo. You need to move it.
Pa
No, pa arriba.
arriba, pa arriba.
Pa abajo. Go
Babajo.
down. Pa abajo, go down. Pa al centro. And then like we clink it.
Ah,
Pa
pa
al centro.
centro.
Pa dentro.
Pa
And then
ventro.
that's where you drink it.
Ah.
Yeah. And now you learned how to do it.
I
Good job.
don't remember what I just did.
I'll
But it was
send
great.
you a tutorial. Don't worry about it.
Good plan. I need to see it written down. I'm a visual learner. It's fine. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
Josh, yeah, can I just say this? I think this is gonna be a very interesting episode for many, many reasons. Both because it is, first of all, the episode that we're covering today, I think is a very important and pivotal episode overall of
Yep.
the series, and also because of the times of like here outside of the like actual show Rick and Morty,
Yeah,
of the
reality.
news of what's happening, of like
It's an amazing
real
time.
life that sucks.
It's an amazing time to be a Rick and Morty fan. You know, never a dull moment with these people.
Oh
Except for,
no.
you know, a year and a half to 2.5 years between seasons. Those are dull moments.
Yeah.
But every now and again, they pull some drama
I
out of
think.
their ass that you can't buy
Oh
tickets
yeah.
for. And the drama we might be referring to is they just recently parted ways with Justin Roiland permanently,
Dun,
which
dun,
means
dun, dun.
obviously they're going to have to recast Rick and Morty on the TV show Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
I mean, the last time I remember something this, I don't know, asinine being done with a
Drastic?
TV. Asinine's not the right word, but
Drastic?
drastic.
Or like
Yeah. The biggest recast. I mean, not counting House of Dragons, that was kind of an artistic choice. It seemed like. But
yeah.
the Simpsons, at least once that I know of, recast Homer Simpson as Dan
Yeah.
Castellaneta, and I don't know the name of the actor from before, but who remembers
Well,
him
there you go.
anyway? Because now Dan Castellaneta's been doing it for 99% of the time that the show's existed, but that is absolutely not the case with Rick and Morty. Justin Roiland, I think, for most people, will always be the voice of Rick and Morty. But that being said, I think it's a pretty easy voice for a talented voice actor to mimic.
To replicate exactly.
And I don't think
Yeah.
we're going to miss a beat.
Nah.
I mean, you sent me a video where they're like, "Oh, fucking hell, we're already like 2 seasons ahead or something, like a couple seasons ahead."
Yeah.
They didn't say specifically. It's going to be fine. Either that or they're hyping us up so that they don't lose viewers and they're actually just freaking out in the background. But I don't think that's the case. I think it's
I don't think so,
extremely
yeah.
plausible. And I was even saying, like, before I read anything, and I had just heard that Justin Roiland was legally fucked, and at the
Yeah.
very least, he's gonna get canceled, regardless of if he's found guilty. I was like,
Correct.
I bet they could recast, no problem. I don't see that being a problem
Yeah,
at all.
because he himself has always said that like his voices are just like so stupid, and like he just makes the same voice for like all these characters
Yeah,
and side characters and like other shows like Lemon, what's his name
Dan Harmon.
from Adventure Time?
Oh,
Lemon, no, lemon something,
I don't know.
whatever. But yeah, it's just like, and there's been like proof of several like voice actors and impersonators that have mimicked the both Rick and Morty's voices like close enough that I think there must be somebody out there that can like absolutely nail it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're gonna find them and they're gonna hire them
It's not going to
to
be a
do
problem.
this.
Even if they have to do some ridiculous editing to get the cadence and the
Yeah.
burping in there
Yeah.
properly, it won't be a problem.
Correct. Correct.
I actually, I'm wondering, I think it would be more effective if instead of cutting it off at a very specific time, you might want to turn your headphones down a little. I'm getting a little echo.
Oh, thanks for reminding me.
Yeah. Um,
There we go.
I think it would be more effective for them to, instead of hard cutting off Justin Roiland at some point, whether he's already recorded season 7 and into season 8, and then just cut it off wherever he stopped recording. I think it'd be better if,
Right.
for instance, they were to take season 7 and take the new voice actor and re record just portions
Season
of episodes of season 7
or
and
like sprinkle
and
him.
just sprinkle pepper his the new voice in to where we might go, oh, that didn't sound exactly like Rick. Okay, now it's Rick. And just boil the
Yeah.
frog, and we won't even notice the transition. Eventually, it'll all just be new voice actor Rick and Morty. Um,
Yeah. I feel
but
like they're gonna find a way to like trick our minds. We're just gonna adapt to it. Like it's not gonna be that hard.
we absolutely
That's
will.
I don't think that's like the main thing. I just also feel like people are like, oh no, like that's it. Rick and Morty is dead. Like I don't think Rick and Morty is like the whole entire show of Rick and Morty is dead. Like cancel. Like I don't think that's a smart thing to do.
No.
There's so many other people involved with creating the show. Like Jalen was by no means like this god creator of
God no.
the show.
God no.
He
In
was just
fact,
voices.
the best evidence for
So
that, have you seen Solar Opposites? I don't know if I've
I have not, but I you've told me about this.
yeah, if I've mentioned it on the show before or not, I apologize if I've gone on this same tirade, but I think Solar Opposites is the biggest piece of garbage that ever happened on this
There you go.
planet. Aside from some of the other shit that we talked about last episode that Justin Roiland put out single handedly, or whatever he was the main creator of. It's not funny. It falls flat constantly, and it just pointed out exactly what he contributes to Rick and Morty, and it's mainly just all of the gratuitous violence and the improvisational tone that everything takes, and the literal voice of Rick and Morty, and a bunch of random side characters that don't sound different. Like, we always know, like, Mr. Poopy Butthole sounds exactly like Mr. Meeseeks practically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
pretty close to Morty. And there's a bunch, like dozens of random voices that all just sound exactly like that. So what the fuck ever. Anybody can do those voices.
Yeah.
Dan Harmon's the one really keeping all the canon and the lore together and bringing it all together to make a contiguous, amazing, epic journey. So
Correct.
it's
So I think
fine.
like overall, Rick and Morty will be fine. It'll
Yeah.
be fine. It'll survive this. Like at this point, this has happened so many times with so many things and fandoms, like Buffy Vampire Slayer, Harry Potter. Like, don't even get me started.
Yeah.
Like, it's just tainted. Like the Avengers. Like, it's just everything's tainted at this point.
Yeah.
Somehow there is no way to escape it, really.
It's like when
So,
I start a
like,
podcast about something, inevitably the creator will be outed as a piece of shit.
Something. Yeah.
Because it happened with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, like you just said. And I'm like, wow, this just keeps happening to me. Why is this happening to
Right?
me? This is
To
all
me,
about
like
me.
specifically, yeah.
And I'm like, no, we're not going to
Fucking
quit the
sucks.
fucking podcast. Just fuck that guy. The
Oh,
show's still great. And it's not because of him. He's just a small part of it, really, at the end of the day.
correct. So here in Wubba Lubba PodPod, we cut ties with Justin Roiland as well.
Yeah, fuck
Not
that
that we
guy.
ever had ties.
Psh,
We cut ties with him. We don't support or condone any domestic violence or any such weird shit or creepy behavior or all that ish. We don't do that
I
here.
mean, I
We're here just
hope
to enjoy the show.
I hope that he's innocent. But I will never really know because, them finding him innocent and him actually being innocent, two entirely different
Yeah.
things. Um, but I would like to think that those things didn't happen, that victim doesn't have that actual trauma. But, let's default on the side of believing women. So there's that.
Correct. So, this is just what it is. We have to
Yeah.
accept it and move on. And yeah, so I'm all for continuing the journey. We're
Boom.
like about to embark on episode 6. I'm very excited. I don't know anything else you want to cover about this before we get into the episode.
I think that was as solid of an opener as we got. I say we jump right into the episode.
Yeah, I think we talked about that guy enough. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. All right. So Rick and Morty, season 1, episode 6. It is called Rick Potion number 9.
That's the
And I have
one.
a question. Is that in reference to anything that I'm missing, or
Oh,
do you know?
Love Potion number 9. Are you not familiar with Love Potion number 9?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well,
Care to explain?
it's a song and it's a movie, and I don't know if it has any deeper roots than that, but um,
Okay.
it's an oldies song. I want to say it's from like the 50s or the 60s. Love Potion number
Jeez.
9. It's a fun song. You should
Nice.
look it up and listen to it. And then there's a movie that came out in the 80s where literally this guy comes up with a love potion and it goes
Of
horribly
course.
wrong like in this
Oh,
episode, but
yeah.
not nearly as bad. Like
All right. Right. Right.
he just ends up with an entire city worth of people chasing him through the streets, and I forget how he fixes it. It's more of a rom-com,
Yeah.
really. Um,
Like it's not that serious. Like it's supposed to be funny and stuff like that.
it's supposed to be funny and kind of a coming of age, and he
Right.
finds his confidence in realizing
Oh,
that he
okay.
doesn't need the potion or some bullshit. I don't know.
Of course. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Cool.
So, song and a movie. There might be more, but those are the big ones I know.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. So, excuse me. Ah, so personally, I like this title just because I am a witch and I like potions and that witchy shit. Just saying this. Just a little.
I keep
So
forgetting that
it's
about you.
interesting.
My partner is also a witch. You should chat
There we go.
sometime.
Yes, we should. We're everywhere. And I am like, I need to speak with somebody because I need some guidance. Because I need to like, whatever. But like, once I'm out of here, of this apartment complex,
Mm.
I want to leave some like sort of curse or karma. I want to set out karma because like I've been wronged
Oh.
by people in this place and like whatever. But like I feel the rage and I need karma to do its thing. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, I'm putting that out there. But
Couldn't agree
let's
more.
get into let's get into
No
this
idea what you're
episode.
talking about. Well, a
It's
slight
fine.
idea what you're talking about.
You'll see. I'll expose the shit out of this whole thing, but all in good time. All in good time.
Okay.
It is.
You know
Isn't
what?
it interesting? Yeah.
I keep getting your connection keeps getting a little bit garbled, and I think I might need to hook up to a landline instead of using the Wi-Fi real quick.
Okay.
But
Are
I
we
don't
gonna
know if
get
that's going to
disconnected?
interrupt the stream. But
Well,
I'm
if it doesn't, you'll just restart it.
yeah, I'm gonna try it and see what happens.
Okay.
So hang on a sec.
Yeah. Perfect. This is my time. It's my cheesecake leftover that I have here. I love cheesecake. This is the tiramisu cheesecake. It's so good. Oh my god. No, Carlos, for you.
Okay, the switch has been made. Check the stream.
Um, it looks good. Hold on.
Because it definitely won't affect
Yeah.
recording on either end.
Right. I think it's good. It's still going so far.
Okay. Cool, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would imagine it'd be able to handle IP address changes like that fairly
That's cool.
easily. Somebody probably thought about that at some point in time. Yay, engineers. Anyway, what were we talking about?
We're about to start the episode.
Hooray. So yeah, we start
Do you
off.
want to start?
I'll start us off.
Go ahead.
So we start off with Principal Vagina, of all people. He's on the intercom at the high school. And don't let the name fool you. I'm very much in charge. And this fucking guy. Every time he opens his mouth, it's gold. Gold! Not golden folds, but it's gold, Jerry. Gold. So time for the flu dance. Don't come if you have the flu. It's about awareness, not celebration. Morty tries to talk to Jessica. Her douchey boyfriend, Brad, is like, seriously? Do I go to more wealthy districts and try to hit on their hottest girls? Jessica is slightly offended by this, but not enough to be turned off by him. So whatever, they deserve each other at this point, I guess. That being said, Morty is way out of his league with Jessica, but it's adorable. It's a cute little crush that he's got here.
He's like, were you trying to talk to her? He was like, well, I was maybe thinking about it.
You know, I mean, it takes a lot of courage. He's consistently got the courage to go up and talk to her, even though he just keeps getting not necessarily turned down flat, but like she actually has a little bit of interest in him. I don't know that it's romantic interest, but she knows who he is. She knows his name. She's like, oh, I think she just thinks it's cute that he has a crush on her. Anyway, Brad, this fucking guy, he's like, hey, I throw balls far. You want someone who talks good? Date a languager. And that's just impressive. You know how impressive that is? Google Docs tried to correct that sentence when I typed it out, and then it fucking disappeared with the blue squiggly lines. It gave up on me. It was like, I can't even. Google said, I can't even at that sentence. That's how bad that sentence was.
That's how bad it was. Yeah. Wow.
So
Good job, Brad. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that guy. So we cut to the Smith house kitchen.
Yeah.
You want to take it from there?
Jerry's trying to comfort Morty about it. Like it looks, we just told him about what we just saw, and Jerry's like, no, it's okay. Like you'll get girls eventually. Probably by the time Brad like loses his shape or something like that.
By the time Brad's out of shape, yeah.
But out of shape, yeah. And then so Jerry's like, yeah, you'll get girls eventually. But Morty's like, I don't want girls. I want Jessica. He's like so infatuated.
She's so
with
amazing.
Jessica.
Oh, she's so perfect. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And it's definitely that like first love, like tween.
Yeah.
I remember.
Well,
I remember.
You hit the nail on the head. It's infatuation. You know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He's not thinking about her. He's thinking about tapping that ass.
Yes. So yeah, and Jerry starts romanticizing the situation, saying like, "Oh, like Morty's mom was my Jessica, blah blah blah." And then that's when Rick enters the scene, and he starts going through the fridge and just like pointing out how Jerry got his daughter pregnant, and like just shredding the fantasy to bits into reality.
Which he does consistently to Jerry throughout this episode.
Yeah, he like keeps reminding him. about that, and he's like that his marriage is hanging by a thread. Why are you taking romance like love advice or romantic advice from this guy?
And he's
Like
definitely poking the
their
bear.
marriage is
He's
like
he's
possible.
stoking the flame
Yeah,
here. I don't think it's quite as bad as Rick makes it out to be, but I think he wants Jerry to be insecure about it.
yeah. He's like psychologically messing with his mind.
Yes, he's very manipulative.
Morty's like, yeah, and Morty's like, damn, gee, Rick, don't talk about my parents like that.
Hmm.
And then that is when we get the very famous TikTok sound, which is also quote, which is as follows. I hate to break it to you, Morty, but what people call love is just a chemical reaction that compels animals to breed. It hits hard, Morty, and then slowly fades, leaving you stranded in a failing marriage. I did it. Your parents are gonna do it. Break the cycle, Morty. Focus on science. What? Yeah, rise above. Focus on science. And that's the sound.
Pretty
And
iconic shit.
Morty is just like, Morty's like, it's one of those like cold truths that's just he just likes to drop these bombs on us that you like think about later. Just saying. Is love even real? I don't think so.
Right? Well, no, I think it is, but it's all very easily and often confused with what he's talking about, the chemical drive to
Reaction of
mate
like
and procreate.
infatuation. Yeah,
Yeah.
right. So
Um,
you think it's different?
I think it's two entirely different things, but they can coincide.
Gotcha.
Another
All
thing
right.
I had a thought about here. Do you remember when Rick says he's like, I barely have a reason to care, but he's like talking about his own daughter's marriage. How does he barely have a reason to care? Well, my theory is it's because well, we know for a fact now, but this was definitely a very early clue that he's absolutely not this dimension's Rick.
Right.
This is not C-137. Um,
Right. So
I,
that's why he like doesn't care
I'm still trying to
that
figure out.
much.
There are people calling us a certain universe the Prime universe, and I'm not sure if they mean the Cronenberg universe that this is about to become, or the one that they jump to after this. One of the two is generally canonically known as the Prime
As the
universe.
prime. Okay.
So we
We'll
need
have to
to
see it.
land on an answer for that ASAP, probably by the end of next episode.
Yeah.
And I've got some other stuff to talk about when we talk about theories when we're done talking about the episode. But I just wanted to get that out there real quick.
Cool. Good. Okay. So yeah, then after the quote, Rick walks out and Morty and Jerry are left in the kitchen like just like what the fuck just happened, and Jerry's like, I'm just gonna go check on your mom. Something resonated with
Yeah.
him. Uh,
Rick's manipulation working like a charm, hook, line, sinker.
yeah. And then that's when they cut to the garage where Rick is like, pass a screwdriver. Do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, Rick is working on an ionic defibrillator and needs a screwdriver, but Morty wants a love potion to use on Jessica. Aw, isn't that so cute and rapey? Aw.
Oh,
It's a little, when you think about it, he basically wants to roofie her, and Rick says as much later. But it's as much,
yeah.
if not more, so on Rick. Like, he needed to stop and be like, that's not appropriate. Like, regardless of if I can,
Yeah.
it's not what you do. But he
Like
doesn't. He never
horrifically
plays
correct.
moral police
Oh
with
no.
Morty because his morals are fucking. Does he have morals?
Does he have
We'll
morals?
we'll talk more about that later too. So
Hmm.
Morty puts his foot down because he's growing up fast and right into a
Talking
thorn
about
right up Rick's ass, way up in his butthole. So Rick pulls out some oxytocin from a vole that he's got in a little vial, a vole vial, if you will.
oh.
And
Is Bull a real animal? Sorry.
yeah, I think a vole is a little rodent,
Okay, so that was real. Okay. I've
subterranean
never heard
rodent,
of it.
I believe.
So I was
Yes,
like, is this make believe or all right? Good to
and
know. Great.
and I think I don't think this is a real scientific thing that if you get oxytocin from a vole, that it's going to make
Right.
any difference than if you get oxytocin from a human. Like, we generate oxytocin. It's basically a love chemical. Like, when you cuddle somebody and you get that super warm, fuzzy feeling, that's oxytocin.
Yeah.
But I think the joke here is that voles mate for life. They could have just as easily said oxytocin from a what's from
Penguin?
yes. There's a couple of birds out there that are known to mate for life. Did you say a penguin?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have just as easily been a penguin or turtle doves. I don't know. There's another couple of species out
Okay.
there. So anyway, he starts mixing it with Morty's DNA. Morty goes to
Oh, and this
pull
is
his zipper down, and he's like, "Just a hair, Morty. It's not Game of Thrones." I fucking love that reference. It's hilarious because I'm like, yeah, you know, if it was Game of Thrones. Speaking of rapey,
wait. I just want to say that little like interchange that just happened there. It's like I feel the vibes are straight out of that Forbidden Pilot episode,
oh
right?
right, yeah, Morty, you
Like
gotta lick my balls, Morty.
you guys,
You gotta
that
stroke
was
the
just your
shaft. It's the only
DNA.
way, Morty.
But they just in this version they took it to like the like no, we're not doing
They
that
stopped
place.
before it
You know
got
what I'm saying?
horribly
Yeah,
distasteful. Yeah.
they like this suggested it and then it was like
There's
no, we're
lots
not
of
doing
little
that. It's not Game of Thrones.
references to that original pilot. I love it. And
Yeah.
even the original pilot feels like child's play. In wow, that might not be the best term to apply towards
No.
it. It feels. It feels
Josh,
not
cut
that
it,
bad
cut it.
in comparison to that other video that I showed you that Justin Roiland did and the one
yeah.
that Dan Harmon did. Anyway, whatever. We've talked
Moving
about all
on.
that. So,
Yep.
anyway,
Yep.
Rick tells Morty to go nuts. There couldn't possibly be any consequences or side effects. He's not a hack
Foolproof.
after all. Unless she has the flu.
And it's interesting because like the way to use it, he said, is to smear the potion on the person.
Yeah.
Which, in my opinion, is not the safest way. But like, okay, I just think that Rick is starting to make not very wise decisions here. Like, he's not thinking it through. And then like he's like, yeah, go, you're good. There's no side effects. You're fine. As soon as like Morty walks out, he's like, oh wait, except if they have the flu.
But he doesn't
Why don't
bother.
you call him back and tell him, send him a text. I don't
Seriously.
know, teleport to him, maybe like just don't be stupid, like anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whatever.
No, exactly. You read my mind. Read my mind.
Oh,
So,
I'm sorry. I have a little note here before we continue
yeah.
about the love potion.
Mm-hmm.
Just like this question to you, Josh. If you had this love potion, would you use it on somebody? And if you could, like, who would this somebody be? I don't know, like a famous person or somebody you're like, like, you know, that you would love, that they would fall in love with you. But like, obviously, not this particular potion that's gonna turn everybody into mutants. Just like a love potion, just like a love potion that actually works as like, this person's gonna fall in love with me. Nothing crazy.
In a
Who would you
normal
want?
way, not in the
Yeah.
sticking your butt in the air like
Correct.
like a cat in heat
Correct.
and just crazy nonsense.
None of that.
Okay,
no.
so
This is normal.
a normal love potion.
Yeah.
I'd
Who
see
would
it.
you pick?
Who would I pick? Okay, so we're not going with would I use it first. We're jumping straight to
Well, would you?
if
Would
I
you
would use it.
But I also
I
need to
mean,
know.
I don't think it's ethical. I don't think
Okay.
that's fair. If I turn that around and I say, what if somebody that I wasn't into used a love potion on me? Would I be okay with that? Abso-fucking-lutely not.
That's true. That's true.
Like, yeah.
But let's say that it was okay.
Let's
Who would you
say,
pick
yeah.
then?
So that's option B. If it was okay, if we lived in a world where that was the only way to fall in love and therefore it is ethical,
Right.
because we have to
Let's
breed. It's
stay.
the only way that we can perpetuate the species.
Sure.
Um,
Sure. Sure.
I don't know. There's a few baristas that I thought were pretty cute.
Oh,
um,
you're thinking local.
yeah, locals just as good. I mean, probably a lot of baggage with a famous person. I don't know. I think I'd be boring to them at the end of the day. Uh,
You never know. They're people just like us, Josh.
yeah,
Some
but
of them are even assholes. So
and that's true too. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head with, was it Scarlett Johansson last episode? We were trying to think of a hot woman that you would want to
yeah.
eat sushi off of real quick, and that's who you picked, wasn't it?
Yes.
I think that's a solid choice if
Oh
we're going
yeah.
famous people. Ooh, or Charisma Carpenter.
Wow. Wow.
Mm,
Oh wow.
she's pretty cool. I like Charisma
Yeah.
Carpenter. Um,
That.
or
Wow.
pretty much just anyone. Half the cast of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I
Oh,
I'd be
absolutely.
pretty okay with.
Including Spike, guys. He told me the other day.
Spike is not
Special.
off the list. Yeah. I'd probably go for I can't. Oh damn, I can't think of her real name. She plays Anya.
Oh.
Uh,
Claire. Claire Kramer. No. Yes.
mm,
No.
no,
Sorry.
Claire. Claire Kramer is the one that plays Glory. How'd you pull that name
It's
out of your ass?
Glory. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's Glory, but yeah, whoever Emma Caulfield.
That's right.
That's Anya. Yep.
Wow, you're better at this
Great.
than me. I do a Buffy podcast. What the hell? Yeah, no, that's
I should be.
no. She's really cool. I like her.
Yeah.
This might sound weird at first. Michelle
Yeah.
Trachtenberg. We're the same age. Just because she plays a 14-year-old in the show doesn't mean shit. We're the same age.
Yeah.
Okay, I was the
So,
same
like,
age as her when it aired.
Yeah.
I watched it very shortly
Right.
after it aired. That's not as creepy as it sounds.
Cool. Disclaimer.
Disclaimer,
Okay, cool.
yes.
That's good.
and I'm talking
Oh man.
Michelle Trachtenberg now, not Michelle Trachtenberg 14 and me at my age. So just to clarify,
Right.
um,
Yeah. Calm down. Calm down.
calm down.
For me, it
Everybody
would have to
calm
be
your
Justin
tits.
Timberlake. Probably Gal Gadot. Justin Timberlake. Yeah, that plays Spider-Man. Tom Holland. Zendaya. Zendaya.
Got nothing.
Jesse Reyes. No.
Nope.
Jesse Reyes.
Got nothing. Yes.
Okay, so I think we answered the question of the love potion. We can move on to
Yeah, where were we? I think we were in Jerry and Beth talking in the bedroom.
Yes. Oh, it's the pathetic scene.
It's
with
pretty
Jerry being
pathetic.
like,
It's pretty pathetic.
"Do you
Jerry's.
love me?
Do you love
Do
me?
you love me, man?
He's been super needy and insecure. Beth is being not particularly supportive, which is kind of what you're supposed to do. Like, this shit happens in a relationship, and it's kind of your job to
Yeah.
help somebody work through that. And she kind of does, but in like the shittiest way possible. It's such a clusterfuck of a marriage. I love it. I mean,
She's just like brutally honest.
to be fair, they definitely reconcile and they end up having a great marriage by the end of the episode. So,
Well, yeah.
um, it's
True.
it's Jerry and Beth Prime that don't still after this. So anyway, Beth compares loving him to building a homeless shelter or building homeless shelters in general. No one wants to say no to doing it, but only some people put in the work. And she's putting in the work, the tedious work. Therefore, she must sort of love him. And she gets called into work right after saying that because there was a 7-horse pileup at the Derby, and Davin is there, alone. Jerry seems to recognize the name, or he just notices that it's a man's name and is so horrifically, monumentally insecure that it doesn't really matter. He just knows that she's there with another man. And now he suspects Beth of cheating.
Davin.
Davin.
Calm down, Jerry.
Davin?
Jesus Christ. Davin?
Davin!
Davin!
Davin?
Oh, we're not doing the Darla thing.
Oh.
We're not doing the Darla.
But it starts with a D. I just realized I didn't take my vitamin D today. Well, another time.
Oh.
So, or maybe I did. I forget.
Oh.
Cut to the dance.
Yeah, the flu season dance.
Yeah,
with the flu song.
The flu-hating rapper.
Flu, blah, blah, blah.
It's. Yeah. I love their allegorical lyrics that they do with this guy.
Yes.
It's very just. By the way, if you don't notice by this point in the episode that everybody has the flu or that it's flu season, you're really not paying attention. And I am ashamed to admit that I was absolutely not paying attention like the first 5 times I watched this episode. And now like all of the signs are just so glaring and I'm like, oh my God, I must have ADHD or something.
Yeah.
Because Morty wastes
this is
no time. He wastes 0 time roofing Jessica. And the shit works right away. She's all over him. Brad drops by right away to play Big Dick Boy. And then she sneezes in his mouth. And now he's all over Morty. I mean...
Guys. He literally catches feelings. Get it? He catches feelings.
Oh, yeah, he catches feelings for Morty. That's a good pun.
He catches feelings for Morty.
You made a funny. Yes. It was very punny. No.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely. So, anyway, Vagina and Goldenfold come over and drag Brad away, saying, come on now, we don't want you to injure your throwing arm. You know, because they don't give a shit about any kind of conflict. They just care about sports, like literally every high school everywhere, probably. So Brad sneezes as he's leaving the room or being dragged out of the room, and he's right under a vent. So the germs fly into the punch bowl and into the air ducts. Well, fuck. What are you going to do?
Good job. Now everybody's fucked.
Yep.
And we know it.
Mm-hmm.
And then cut to the living room.
And obviously that air duct goes directly to China and the Middle East. So
of course.
Doesn't everything make so much more sense now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just because of the vent. Yeah. So they cut to the living room. Jerry's complaining about Devin. Summer's trying to calm him down. And Summer's like, no, like, it's nothing romantic. It's a work thing. Like, calm down, Dad. But then Rick comes in and he's like making everything worse. Just like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. I don't remember what he said.
Or maybe she made the whole thing up and Davin's digging around in her insides, as opposed
it was that.
As opposed to horse insides, which is a very graphic way of saying they're fucking. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and Summer's like, ew, you're talking about my mom. And then Rick is like, well, she's my daughter. I outrank you. Or family means nothing, to which, in case that, don't play that card. Like, I love it. It's like...
Yeah, again, very nihilistic with the, wait, family means nothing? We know that he doesn't feel that way, but he loves to use it as an argument. He just loves to win arguments. So Jerry gets up suddenly to go get ice cream. Oh, and support his wife with his confidence. Or, you know, exactly the opposite of both of those things. I mean, okay, ironically, it turns out to be exactly what happens, actually.
Yeah.
But Rick...
Summer says, Grandpa, you're such a dick.
Yeah. And then... I care very little about your opinion, Summer. But then he wonders why Summer's not at the
Sorry.
dance. Well, she doesn't want to get the flu. Uh-oh.
Rick is like,
SpaghettiOs. I had to finish it with that. I'm so sorry.
yeah. Okay. It's okay.
Back to the dance.
Cut to. Yeah. Jessica is having a crazy wild animal in heat, begging Morty to fuck her, just shaking her ass, being like, do it right here. Like, let's
Right
make
there on
it
the
right
dance
now.
floor. You can tell
Oh
Morty's
my
a
God.
bit
Morty's like,
torn.
we can go somewhere more private, maybe. Morty.
It's kind of
Oh
embarrassing, really, but at the same time, he's like, well, I guess this is what I wanted. I mean, it's fine. The embarrassment won't last long. Shit's about to go real sideways.
Yeah, Jessica's friend comes in and she's like, Jessica, get a hold of yourself. But then she gets like infected right away. And then she's like, oh my God, Morty. And then little by little, bam. Now everybody wants this dick right here, right now.
I
And Morty's
absolutely,
like, and little side option. Yeah.
I absolutely love
Sorry.
this moment where everyone turns and stares at Morty, and even the singer, the rapper, starts singing about Morty. I
Singing
love
about Morty.
Morty, and I hope Morty loves me. I'd like to wrap my arms around him and feel him inside me. And I'm like, that is the
my-
most shit, there's a word for it. Just foreboding shit.
Oh, yeah.
They do horror really
They-
well, even when they're not necessarily trying to. This is a kind of a horrific episode.
It's very creepy.
It's
very
super
creepy. And what I was gonna say is that it is very, very much like that episode from Vampire Slayer where Xander casts love spell on Cordelia,
Yep.
but it goes wrong, and instead all of the women start falling in love with Xander, and the same shit happens where like they all go crazy. It goes too far.
Yeah.
They start wanting to kill him because if I can have you, then nobody can, and like that whole
It's-
situation
Yeah.
where they're like, oh my god, like all over him.
That's pretty much just how
Same
Love
shit.
Potion No.9 goes. That movie was a big fucking hit for a long ass time. You can probably still find it in the $5 bin at Walmart, honestly.
Is that true? Probably one. Probably one.
But did you say that Xander uses it on Cordelia?
Um, yeah, he is. He intended to. It's cast on every woman except for Cordelia. Remember?
Nope.
No.
And
You don't remember? You covered this already.
I did an episode on that episode, and I don't remember it. It's okay. Maybe I'll go back and listen someday. Anyway, well, fuck. Anyway, classic Rick timing as Morty starts to fucking run for it. Rick meets him at the doors and slams them shut behind him as they make a break for the front entrance, and the entire gym full of students slams into the door. Rick, and then Vagina and Goldenfold start chasing them, but it's okay. They've both agreed that they're insecure enough to have a threesome with Morty, and that was very thoughtful of them, even in their heightened state, shall we say. You still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, your connection seems to keep getting shittier.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It is. You're getting cut a little bit, but
Okay.
it's okay. We're still here.
Okay. So they jump in Rick's ship, and Rick says, "Oh, I didn't realize Jessica had the flu. That might have been valuable information, Morty." And yeah, classic Rick, blaming Morty for not divulging
Blaming Morty.
information that he didn't ask for. Rick fucking knew, but he didn't bother to tell Morty to make sure that she didn't have the flu.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's Rick's fault and he knows it, but he's just blaming Morty.
And he's
What an asshole
so
to feel
detached
like-
from family, or the idea of family at this point. If he had just known the name of the dance that Morty was going to,
Yeah.
It would have solved
It
this
was
whole
so
thing.
easy to avoid this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So fuck Rick. What an asshole. But, it's okay. He has a plan. Because, praying mantises are the exact opposite of voles because there's no love.
Antidote. For
Yeah.
sure. This will totally work.
Yep. They just, they mate and then they bite the head off and it's great. It's totally the opposite of voles. Um,
Totally.
so he mixes a new serum with a more contagious flu virus and it'll reverse everything, he swears. Or turn everyone into terrifying mantis monsters that are still in love with Morty but now want to murder him.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
So they go on the spaceship, they start spraying the thing, and this is when Rick says the following. He says, "I'm not Morty, just in case you didn't ask, but just I'm not interested in having sex with you. These serums don't work on anybody genetically related to you." And to this, I'm like, I am grateful for this information, but also I hadn't wondered about it. Like, if he hadn't pointed out, I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought of like, oh, why is Rick or the family not getting infected? But it is a good point. And then this is just, I guess, the way of the writers being just like, all right, in case just before people start telling us this to our face, like,
Sure.
here,
It's a quick
here's the
little
cop out.
it's a quick little sci-fi cop out, exactly.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah. And cut to
But
Jerry.
then, yeah. No, but then this is when they start to mutate first, no? Before we cut. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
they
they all
spray, and
start.
that's when they start to mutate because Rick starts being bragging about it. He's like, "See, I told you, everything's fine," and like Morty's like, "No," and then they start to mutate into praying mantis monsters. And Rick is like, "You know what? Sometimes science is more art than science. A lot of people don't get that." That's another good quote.
That's a great Rick quote.
Yeah.
So Jerry, he's on the highway. He pulls up behind a huge pileup of cars in accidents on the highway. Everybody's dead. Everything's on fire. He gets out and is immediately being chased by a horde of mantis people who think that he's Morty, and then they're like, "You're not Morty!" And he grabs a dead police officer's shotgun and takes him out. And he's like, "Nobody's killing me until I catch my wife with another man." And I
love that.
I love that Jerry finds his confidence in embracing his insecurity. It's
exactly. He's like confident about his insecurity.
Yeah.
He's like, I know that this shit is fucked up about me, but like here I am, and this is a moment where this is one of the few moments that I personally respect Jerry. So
right.
Usually I hate him and he's pathetic, but in this moment, in this version of Jerry, I'm on board.
Yeah, every now and then he comes into his own, he finds his thing, and this is definitely one of them. So back to Summer on the couch. And there's a funny little Easter egg on the TV here. Did you notice? So the show that she's watching, a girl says, "So I had sex with Billy," and her friend says, "But you were already pregnant." And she says, "Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?" And then the news interrupts, and they says, "We interrupt pregnant baby for this breaking news." Do you get the joke there?
Oh, so the baby got pregnant?
Yes, she's pregnant with a pregnant baby because she had sex while she was pregnant. Is that not
so stupid? And I totally did not get it.
It's fucking ludicrous. I love it.
Yeah.
And that's the whole show. That's the whole premise of the show. Pregnant baby. So the news is two mantis people fighting over who gets Morty, and that they haven't found him yet. And Summer is suddenly rightfully terrified as she switches channels and she sees the same thing on an Arabic channel.
Happening all over the world.
All
Apparently
over the
now,
world.
this is where we all get to know that the virus has spread literally all over the earth.
It's basically, that part of every zombie movie that you've ever seen, where survivors who are shut-ins are just starting to realize what's going on. Obviously, there's an expedited timeline on this one, so Summer's not a shut-in. She just happened to be home watching TV and is related to Morty. So the door breaks down suddenly after a few thumps, and it's a mantis man looking for Morty. Summer smashes a lamp over his head and runs screaming out of the door into the night.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
Then there's this like this is a unusual transition that they like panned up to the moon and then like pan down, and now we're seeing like like this to me was like, okay, Rick and Morty are in this like weird space, but they're still on Earth.
Yeah,
Because
they're
for a
definitely still
moment I
on
was
Earth.
like, did they
Yeah.
go to another? Because for a moment I was like, did they go to another planet? But then I thought about transition where it was like, no, we stayed here looking at the moon, and it literally told us like we're looking at the moon, and they're just here on some like desert. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
Arizona. I don't know where they went,
They're just in the
but they're
desert
like, yeah,
somewhere. I mean, obviously, Rick's
yes,
ship can probably get them around the world in no time at all, so they can go to any part of the world. He did.
true.
He didn't portal there because they took the ship. I don't think he can. They've never established it. He can take the ship through a portal. But Earth is tiny in comparison to what that ship can do. So whatever, they get in the ship, they go to the desert.
Yeah,
It could be the Mojave. It could be somewhere in Africa. It could be the savannah. We don't know.
it could be Mexico.
Yeah.
It could be.
So Morty watches the news on a TV that Rick has on the ship with probably satellite or whatever, however you want to explain it away. And he sees Chinese officials that are mantis people. And I think there's a picture of Rick, and it's implied that, or there's a picture of Morty. It's implied that they're all trying to bang Morty, even in China. So Rick, if anything, is proud of himself at how fast the virus spread. But it's okay.
Yeah.
Again, still. Everything's fine. He's got a new serum ready.
Yeah.
This time it's koala mixed with rattlesnake and chimpanzee, cactus, shark, golden retriever, and just a smidge of dinosaur. The universal formula for normal humanity. Everybody knows that. You knew that, right? I think you knew that.
We all know that.
I knew.
We all
We
know
learned that in kindergarten. Come on. Come on.
Please, come on. Big science. Let's go.
So Morty calls him out on
Yeah,
how
Morty's like, how the fuck does that equal humanity? That does not make sense. And Rick is like, do you want me to show you my math? I'm like, shut the fuck up.
I'm the scientist, you're the kid that wanted to get laid. Like, all right, can't argue with that, I guess. Cut to the horse hospital.
And then it cuts to Devin and Beth. Yeah. Oh God, take it. You do it.
So Devin starts to try to seduce Beth after they come out of their sterile operating room. And Beth starts to bug out a bit, but then Devin bugs out even more. Literally. Like, he turns into a mantis dude who's talking about her son's privates and how soft they are and what was it like to give him a bath. And I think it's genius that...
Ooh, disturbing.
Yeah, it was very, very disturbing. Like, it was about to be probably the moment where Beth is tempted to cheat on Jerry again. I mean, she almost cheated on him with a Meeseeks, for God's sakes. Why not Devin?
Oh my God.
So I think it's genius that they hadn't turned yet on account that they were in a sealed off, sterilized room. What? Gonna have to string together 3 different fucking videos now.
It's fine. We'll make it happen. Oh, I mean, who am I to say that we'll make something happen? Because can I just say, like, this is a cry for help. I am not okay. Like, I don't know what is wrong with my brain, but I cannot function and be productive right now. I cannot focus. I spend hours of my day on TikTok distracted, and I cannot get out of it. Like, I feel myself trapped in there. I'm scared. Like, what the fuck is this? I can't do my job. Like, I'm not, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
I'm dying in the garage. Or I'm sorry, I'm dying in a vat in the garage. There.
I swear to God, that's what it feels like. So,
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Shit.
and what it means is like I have this to don't long list
Hmm.
that is a to-do list
Hmm.
with deadlines and everything, but like I cannot do everything. I'm not able to do everything. I'm doing like little by little.
Have you
And so,
tried coffee?
oh my God, that's all I drink. What do you mean?
Okay,
That's my
yeah,
breakfast.
yeah.
So
Could be the weed.
it's
Could be the weed. You know, I accidentally quit weed just because I had COVID for a couple weeks. It turned out I had COVID the last time we recorded.
wow,
During the recording, I had COVID. I just didn't know it
lovely.
yet.
Okay.
And um, oh yeah, so I didn't smoke any weed because I had COVID
Right.
for a couple of weeks, and I just haven't picked it back up since. And it turns out there are withdrawal symptoms to quitting
Yeah.
weed that I didn't know about. Um,
Okay. Yeah, I believe that.
and they hit me at the worst possible time, and I had no idea what it was.
Yeah.
I was at work and I was like, man, I'm really irritable today. What the fuck is that about? And I've been having really unsettling dreams. I must be having some kind of depressive episode.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but no, it leveled out, and the timeline, the way it plays out, it was pretty much all um, weed withdrawal.
Okay.
And I'm like, God damn, that would have been fucking good to know beforehand. Um,
Yeah.
and now I've all but quit coffee. Like, this is decaf. I will only
Wow.
drink decaf now. Because my tolerance was going way up, but it was getting too high again, and I have issues with that. I get super shaky if I drink too much caffeine.
Yeah.
Um, you're definitely, your connection is way smoother now. It's so much better.
Good.
Should we get started back on the episode again?
Let's get back into it. Sorry for
Woohoo!
the disturbance or the probably millisecond that nobody realized because we're gonna edit this seamlessly, but we just had like a little technical break. But we're
Exactly.
back. So
That is
amazing.
correct. Let me find my notes. There they are. I lost my spot. Where were we?
So cut to Devin and Beth after saving the horses.
Ah, yes.
And they're like back at, I guess this is Beth's office or something.
Okay, yeah. So, how soft are your son's privates? What was it like giving him a bath? Jerry busts in, and
Yeah.
his new moniker is Mr. Crowbar, and he's brought his friend, who is also a crowbar.
Your crowbar. Oh, your
Now,
crowbar.
for even Davin is like, that's stupid. Even as a
As
new
a praying mantis monster.
as a newborn praying mantis monster, even he found it pretty stupid. I th- I don't know. I thought it was so stupid that it was clever, honestly. And then he
Yeah.
beats the shit out of him, and he
Yes. Yes.
um
Literally. And then Beth is all like damsel in distress, just got rescued. Like, oh my God, Jerry, thank God. And then Jerry's like, God is turning people into insect monsters. Beth, I'm the one beating them to death. Thank me. And
mhm.
Beth is like, thank you,
Oh,
Jerry.
thank you, Jerry. Thank you
Oh my
so
God.
much. And I
It gives me it crawls my skin is crawling. I can't. I can't with this, but it's
and
fine.
his little quip after he beats him down, he's like, "Yeah, look where being smart got you."
Hmm.
um, as a mantis man being beaten to death by a crowbar.
Yep.
Um, so cut to Rick and Morty flying over the city. Rick is really languishing in the whole fucked up mess he's created, and Morty is just not amused. And Rick is like,
Rick
yeah,
is like
you never
smoking.
know when you're gonna see this kind of thing again, Morty. You know, I mean, once we fix it, it's all over.
Yeah,
um,
it's like soak it in, Morty, blah blah blah.
but
Morty
Morty's
has
like, God damn it, I'm pulling the lever, Rick, and it works. It works. The serum works at first, and they all start. They all look great, and they're human again. But then they all start vomiting and falling over and wriggling and writhing and like vibrating, and then suddenly they start
Ugh.
vomiting and
Morphing in
turning inside out into these hideous monsters.
just like horrible mutants. Just
Yeah.
it seems very painful and disturbing. Um, it's horrifying. It's just horrifying
And
a
Rick,
little
of
bit.
course, is
Yeah.
completely only focused on his resentment towards Morty for being right. Oh, I bet this is the best day of your life. You get to be the
Yeah.
mayor of I Told You Town. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
It's fucking amazing.
Is this narcissistic behavior? Like
Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
I'm like, Rick, okay.
It's also
alright.
sociopathic behavior.
Yeah, true that.
Like he doesn't care about other people.
Yeah, during this episode, I just gotta say in general, Rick is very like cutthroat and ruthless, just overall.
I want to say he's got kind of a Dexter arc. He definitely seems to start caring more as the show progresses, but then, it kind of
He like
peaks
reels
and
it back
valleys.
a little bit, yeah.
Peaks and valleys. Like where they left off, he's definitely probably at his darkest. He
Yeah.
creates a robot at the end of season 6 to take over for him because he just can't fucking be bothered with giving a
Oh,
shit
man.
about Morty and Beth and anybody anymore.
True.
But
Yeah.
so the world is now Cronenberged officially,
Yep.
and
And
I think the word Cronenberg is
Yeah.
just a reference to an author or I don't know. It's a guy. A guy was named Cronenberg, and he did a lot of body horror. I don't know if it's books
Okay.
or movies or TV, but that's what it's based on.
all right, I did not know that. Yeah.
I didn't either. I
Interesting.
read it briefly as I was researching fan theories.
Okay.
So Jerry and Beth.
Jerry has turned into a badass. And he converted this van into like a fucking killing machine. And he's running over all the mutants.
Mm-hmm.
And then him and Beth like burst out of the van. He has a machete. Beth has a shotgun. And they're just like, shock, shock, shock. Like destroying all the mutants,
And
kicking their ass.
I must say, their marriage is absolutely thriving all of a sudden.
It's at its peak right now. And isn't that interesting that like this is the situation and environment where their marriage is thriving?
Right.
What does that say?
Well, when you're suddenly two of the last 3 people on Earth, you probably bond over that,
Yeah.
And
true that.
it's a lot better that he's, not being
He's not being a coward
a
and a pussy.
sniveling
at least.
little.
Not pussy, a little dick.
Yeah.
His pussies are strong, so. Yeah.
And then she shoots a Cronenberg or a Mantis person, whichever, and he says, "I wish that shotgun were my penis," and she
Oh my
says,
God.
"If it were, you could call me Ernest Hemingway. I don't get it, and I don't need to."
And then they start making out.
But yeah, no. Do you get it? Do you get that reference?
I don't. Mm-mm,
So
no.
I had to look it up. I had to.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, all it is a reference to the fact that Hemingway committed suicide with a shotgun to his forehead. So
Oh.
basically, when you parse this out, all that means is she wants to jerk Jerry's load into her face.
Yeah.
Because
okay.
if the shotgun were Jerry's penis,
Jerry's penis,
and
then
she
the-
were
yep.
firing it, and she were Ernest Hemingway, then she would be firing Jerry's penis into her forehead,
Into her forehead.
which is
Thank
how
you
he
for that
committed.
very detailed
She's not
description.
committing suicide. I mean, I don't
Not
know.
in this
I don't think
moment
he's
in
gonna
time.
blow a load hard enough to go through her forehead.
Oh, for sure. not.
But there could be porn of that somewhere. I don't know. You tell me.
I know. No, I haven't not seen.
But at the very least,
no.
they're doing some cum shots. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's what that was.
Yep.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So then Summer appears, and they're like, "Oh my God, Summer, you're okay! Oh my God!" And then immediately he's like, "Where's Morty?" And then They're like, "Oh my god, do you think this is because of Rick? Like, was this Rick?" And then Jerry starts being like, "No, guys, it's not good to assume."
Jerry actually
I think
gives
like,
Rick the benefit of the doubt.
yeah, but like, I think it was just because he was trying to like appease Beth or be like in Beth's good side or what he thought was her good side. But then Beth
Well, I think
like interrupted.
now that he's not insecure about Rick taking over the family, he can give Rick the benefit of the doubt. He doesn't need to tear him
Okay.
down behind his back anymore. That's part of the confidence, and I really appreciate that detail.
Yes,
Mm.
that too. And then yeah, and then Beth like chimes in with like just declaring that Rick is an ass. This is absolutely his fault. This is like
Mm-hmm.
like
And
of course
that's
it's him. And then she says like, oh, like he left my mom. A real man stands by his woman or something by his wife. So
exactly.
like,
And that's all a huge breakthrough for her as well, because she
yeah.
always was too quick to excuse Rick's behavior, and now she's finally
Mm.
holding him responsible. Like, this legitimately fixed everything that was wrong with their marriage and their personalities. It's
Yeah,
so amazing and so sad that it had to be the
this
entire
way.
world experiencing an apocalyptic event for it to happen.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Um. So yeah, and then they continue making out, but with Summer there, just Summer so
just
uncomfortable,
going.
just like,
I love
what do
Summer.
you,
Summer's hilarious.
what would you do if your parents started making out in front of you?
I'd be worried because my dad is dead.
Oh
So,
no. Okay. All right.
but okay, let's assume that they were still alive. I'd still be
Right.
worried because they had a terrible relationship and they've been divorced since I was 5. And I can't imagine them ever having a healthy relationship. So I'd still be very worried. I wouldn't just be awkward. Um, however, okay, let's go down that rabbit hole a little deeper. If my parents
Let's.
did have a loving relationship and they made out in front of me often, I'd probably be a much more well adjusted individual.
You think so?
Or just traumatized in different ways. Can't really say.
Who really knows?
No idea. Couldn't tell
Um,
you. But cut
that's just
to.
yeah.
Sorry, what?
Yep. No,
What?
please, let's go to.
Okay. Those moments are so wholesome, aren't they?
Oh
Sorry
my
I
god.
cut the last one. Rick and Morty on a roof.
Yes.
Morty makes Rick take some responsibility for fucking up everything after Rick tries to lay it all on Morty because he wanted a roofie serum for and to be a little creep. Well, lead by example, asshole. That's what I say. Um, Rick's the one that still made the serum for him with very little coaxing and prodding in that direction. But he's still
Yes.
trying to blame it all on Morty. Very narcissistic.
But Morty even is like, okay, I'll accept my part of the blame. Like, yeah, I was a little pervert dick, but like, you accept your part of the blame. Why the fuck did you do the syrup? Like,
Yeah.
what did like the whole thing?
Haphazardly throwing all that shit together.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, let me do some scouting, and he puts on these goggles and tells Morty to put on this sci-fi looking backpack. Well,
Yep.
and we don't really know what he's doing. I mean, we know what he's doing, but if it's the first time you've ever watched this, we don't really know what he's doing.
Correct.
Cut back to the garage where everything's all better now. And
Yeah, everything's normal, quiet. There's a paper boy like distributing the papers, and the paper says genetic epidemic averted.
hooray!
Yay!
We were all dying and now everything's fine.
Everything's super fine, no problem. Carry on. And Rick
And
and Morty fly into the garage.
they go right back to Rick working on his blah 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 thingy in the garage that I said the name of
The
it.
ionic
Defibrillator.
defibrillator.
There it is.
Defibrillator.
Yeah, defibrillator. There it is.
You know those. I
The
have one. I
yeah.
have to like.
I was gonna order one on
Like,
Amazon.
yeah,
Mine broke.
yeah, it's
Um,
fine.
I turned that screwdriver a third time and it blew up
Yeah,
right in
that's
my
the
face.
problem. That you
Which,
didn't read the instructions. It says not to turn it 3 times, but
but yeah, Rick makes the classic noob mistake here, and he turns it three
Yep.
times, and they both
And
explode
kaboom.
in a horrific scene of death and dismemberment.
Yeah. Very
So,
gory.
a
You
little
see
bit.
it all. You
Oh,
see like their exploded bodies all
I've
over the garage,
I've seen
painted
everything.
the walls, everything.
Yeah. And
And then
then Rick and Morty portal in. And Morty freaks out, and we realize suddenly, oh, those weren't our Rick and Morty. These were a different Rick and Morty. And Rick
oh yeah.
explains that there are infinite realities while Morty's freaking the fuck out like you do.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
there were a dozen or so of these realities where Rick happened to find a solution to the Cronenberg problem, and then a few more of those where both of them also happened to die right after.
At that moment, yeah. So he
And
just had to find one of those so they could like seamlessly slip in and just carry on as if they were there all along.
mm-hmm.
No problemo.
And this prompts Morty to ask the moral question, what about the other dimension? And Rick answers with his usual detached nihilism, what about the dimension where Hitler cures cancer? The answer is don't think about it, Morty.
Yep.
So, yeah, I
And
mean,
it's like,
definitely not a great
yeah,
argument. It's like he didn't cause the timeline where Hitler cures cancer.
that's true. That's true. That's a good point.
So Rick's main concern here seems to be making a fair division of labor in that they each get to carry their own corpse to the backyard to bury it.
Yeah.
That sounds fair. Yeah.
That sounds fair.
It's
I grab
also
myself, you grab yourself. That seems fair.
it's really just a distraction. He doesn't want Morty to keep asking questions and dwelling on what just happened, like he's going to be able to do that. But yeah, Morty's in shock. He goes through kind of the slow-mo.
Wait. He does. I just want to say, like, Rick does mention that they get 3 or 4 of these tops.
Yeah. I
So
feel like that comes up
is
later.
that canon? Should we like start counting how many times they hop? Like
Well,
3 or 4.
I
Is
don't.
this the first one?
I don't. They haven't hopped since this episode. They don't. They don't universe
Episode
hop.
1. We don't know.
Well, if we consider this canon, we were asking the hard questions, hard air quotes
Yeah.
there, a couple episodes ago of maybe. Well, I think our answer to the question of like when Rick when they cut to commercial in the first episode several times where they're in
Yep.
inevitable death
Danger,
situations.
and then they're like, fine.
Yeah, I think
Are they still there?
and then they don't explain how they got out of it. I think what happened there is we're just not watching the titular Rick and Morty, which I just realized earlier today what titular means. Everyone uses the word titular, and I'm like, why do you keep saying that? Well, it just means the ones from the title.
Right. Okay.
I think that's my interpretation of it now. Anyway,
That's what it sounds like to me. Yeah.
like the ones that we mainly follow, which is C-137
The ones that
Rick.
we're following in this specific story.
Yeah, C-137 Rick and Morty Prime.
Correct.
It's Morty Prime one way or another, because whether Cronenberg universe is Prime or the one that they moved to is Prime. He's either old Morty Prime or new Morty Prime. He's Morty Prime.
Right.
I'm just gonna call him Morty Prime. He's our primary Morty, so he's Morty Prime.
Yes, let's do that.
But no, I think we're just unbeknownst watching a different Rick and Morty. It's not necessarily that they're universe hopping to get out of there. And I think it's intended that if there are infinite universes, then there should be infinite versions of the place with the mega seeds. But I think it's intended that there's only one planet or universe with the mega seeds, reality, dimension, whatever.
reality. Yeah,
And not all of the Ricks know about it. In fact, it's possible that only C-137
it's
Rick
one.
knows
Yeah,
about it.
that
Um,
is the theory. Yeah.
if we're
Uh-huh.
following that theory. Oh, and also there was I'll talk about that later because we got to get through this. But
Right. So yeah, just I would just like to like I feel like this is the official first time that the titular Rick and Morty have hopped realities, dimensions,
it's
in
the
my
first time
opinion.
that this Rick has hopped realities with this Morty.
Correct, 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 correct.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's when the sad montage begins of like Rick and Morty burying themselves, and then they go back inside. Rick immediately goes back to normal as if nothing happened. He opens a beer, he goes, sits on the couch, starts watching TV, whatever. And while Morty is visibly traumatized, just looking around everything and everywhere. And I am an empath, right? Remember? So like I'm always often like feeling whatever the thing is feeling is
Oh,
like what you're
absolutely.
meant to feel. I feel it.
That's what they
So I put
wanted. They
myself
wanted you to
you
empathize with Morty
you
in
want
this
to
moment.
empathize and be like, imagine you are in that situation. Like you're looking around and you can't believe that everything is exactly the same, but like, is it? Like, do you really remember if that particular pub that's situated right there was that the pub that has always been there? Like, now I don't know. Like, now I'm questioning everything. And
It's a
he's
mind
going
fuck.
through
It's a real
all of
mind
this
fuck.
mind fuck and he's just like quietly going through it because like he can't talk about it. Like what's he gonna do? He's like watching his parents fight in the kitchen and Summer is as always just like doing nothing on the couch like watching TV and he's just like, oh my god, I guess like this is it. Fuck. Like
Mm-hmm.
I guess this is now my new reality. Jesus.
It's a lot to
It's
take
it's
in. It's a
it's
lot
a
to take
moment.
in, and I
It's a
try
moment.
not to think too hard about it. I'm like, sometimes I have to stop and be like, it's a TV show. It's a TV show.
Yeah. Oh my
Um,
god.
like imagine the just. It's a metaphor. It's all a metaphor, probably for something. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And also, I think Rick is a little more detached and despondent than usual here when he's sitting on the couch. I don't think he's completely unaffected. I think he's still having to cope in his own way. He just is more dead inside,
Yeah.
and responds
Yeah.
differently to this kind of trauma. It's still traumatic for him. Like, he didn't seem to make the decision lightly, but I have a theory on that later.
Okay.
Um,
Can I just before we next thing just want to mention the song because the song was very like it was a good song. So I looked it up. I like Shazammed it and just if anybody wants to know what the song was, it's called "Look on Down from the Bridge."
hmm.
"Look on Down from the Bridge." That's the name of the song by either Mazzy Star or Maisie Star is Mazzy Star. That's the artist. And there you go.
There
It's a
you
great
go.
song.
So we
So,
watch the credits, and then of course we have the tail, the
yep.
um the whatever we
The
call it.
after scene.
I
Yeah,
forget I
the
forget what
epilogue.
there's there's a word for it. They use it later in season 6 when they're doing all the different storytelling devices, but I forget
Yeah. Right.
I forget all the words. But anyway, Summer acts out a scene from Jaws, standing inside. I'm not sure if it's an actual TV that's broken
I think it's cardboard
or
or
it's
something.
cardboard. Yeah, acting out a scene from Jaws. So they're
Yeah.
generally just acting out movies from memory for entertainment because, power probably doesn't
Yeah.
exist anymore. Jerry ponders on what happened to Rick and Morty. Beth admits that now that they're gone, she's happy for the first time ever.
She's finally happy now that they're
Finally
gone.
happy now that she's
What?
lost her son. Like, I get that she's
That.
happy now that she's lost Rick, but Morty, that's weird. Um, so cut to the street
Yep.
where an excited Cronenberg, Rick and Morty portal into the new Cronenberg universe, quickly establishing that they were both born as Cronenbergs and accidentally genetically turned everyone in their universe into
Into
humans.
normal humans. So basically the reverse of what we just went through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but what a crazy punchline!
Yeah.
And now they're gonna live out their lives here, and they're gonna go make themselves at home.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Happily ever after.
And apparently never interact with the family. I don't know why they don't. I wonder if they ever figure out why there is no Cronenberg version of Summer, Beth, and Jerry. But I guess we'll never know.
Huh.
Obviously,
Yeah.
they would have
No.
covered that by now in the 2 or 3 times that we've revisited the Cronenberg universe throughout the
True.
rest of the series. But yeah, that's that.
Wow. It's a good
It's a
show.
good show. Da, 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 da. Oh yeah.
It's my cat. It's my cat. I have a cat. I have a cat in my
What?
lap.
Oh my. How'd you feel about this episode, Alex?
I I like this episode just
Hmm.
because I feel like it's very important. It's the first time that they like switch realities, and I also like how at the beginning of the episode you don't expect it. Like I didn't at first I did not remember that this was the episode where they like
Right.
switch realities.
It escalates so
It
quickly.
escalates. It escalates very quickly, and I'm like here for the ride. Like it's like a
Mm-hmm.
fun roller coaster. It's a very fun roller coaster, and things get serious real quick. By the end,
And
it's
it
just like
completely inverts how most cartoons work, where at the end of the episode, after a bunch of
everything
wacky
results.
shit happens, everything resets. They don't do that. They
Oh,
specifically flip that right upside down and they stick with it, and it's fucking amazing.
it's delicious because
It is.
it is like it is traumatizing. It's like, are you serious? Like as a viewer, you're like, is this for real? Like, are we just gonna start like move on from here on a new reality, like with new mom, dad, Jerry, like what, like Summer, what, like it's
Yep.
almost unbelievable. It's very fun to experience as a viewer, I think.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a massive turning point for the series, and it's one of the handful of episodes uh, when I remember when I started watching Rick and Morty. Seasons 1 and 2 were already released, and this was one of the episodes that really caught my imagination and said, "Holy shit, this show is doing some shit," and I love it.
Yeah, it opens so many possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
It just, yeah, it's just at this point, this is when you first start really sinking in that like truly anything can happen in this show,
Yeah,
and it's just
truly,
delicious.
truly.
Yeah.
Um, Well, did you research any fan theories for this?
I don't think I
Not
did.
a problem. I can just I'll tell you. Let
Yeah.
me tell you a little bit about what I found.
You tell me, yeah. Tell me what you found.
So, most of the theories that I was finding out there are more related to evil Morty and the physical origins and whereabouts and of Rick and Morty. But and a lot of them kind of don't even matter anymore because now it's a known canonical fact that Rick is C-137 and Morty is from the Cronenberg or Prime dimension.
Right.
And yeah, so everything's outdated, even though they were impressive at the time. Like people were predicting this exactly correctly
Yeah.
back in 2015, that far back.
Kudos, guys. Good job.
Yeah,
Whoever predicted that, you did it.
but it's also
You predicted
possible
it.
that their theories were just so popular that the writers said, "Shit, that's not a bad idea."
It
Um,
is also possible.
chicken
Yeah.
or the egg? It really could have gone either way. Um, anyway, I found one that's more about Rick's motivation regarding the Cronenberg universe and how he behaved throughout this episode, and very possibly a fun way to look at what he was doing that might not have seemed so obvious at first. Kind of like
Okay.
how he was behaving during M M Night Shyamalan's episode. It
Right.
seems like he's accepted that Morty is real Morty, but then we realize by the end of the episode that he was just playing them the whole time, and
Right. Right.
he never accepted that Morty was real Morty. Um,
Yeah.
but let me pull up this link real quick, and it's a pretty quick Reddit post and it's pretty recent. It was posted only a month ago, and I like it.
By
Like
by who?
some of the comments, people didn't care much for it. Other people did. I liked it personally. So he writes one thing that let's see, what's his name? The Ben Standard 2 writes, one thing
Okay.
that's always bothered me about Rick Potion 9 is how out of character Rick's actions throughout the episode are. Not only does he seem a step behind the entire adventure, but unless Rick modified the virus to be a super spreader, there's no reason the virus would have spread that quickly. And I'm like, okay, personally, I just kind of bulldozed over that. Like, there's only so much time in the episode. It just, whatever, just to keep the episode moving. Sure, the flu can go that quickly. Who cares?
Okay.
But he's using that kind of as part of his theory. So he says, so what happened? Rick needed to escape the Prime universe where he was reminded of his own failures every day. Obviously, he wouldn't pass on the opportunity to make it seem like Morty's fault. Rick could have easily reversed the process at any time. He chose not to. But this isn't all. It's part of a larger pattern. Throughout the last 6 seasons, Rick has carefully been reconfiguring the family in his own image. Not long after Rick Potion 9, Rick replaced Jerry with some rando from the Jerry Barrie. Then next season, Rick replaced Beth by cloning her. This was especially interesting because he multiplies her, creating 2 versions of her, both in his image. These aren't little accidents. Rick has been carefully cultivating the version of his life he wants, and now that he's happy, he has to kill Prime Rick because that's the only person who can threaten his happiness. And, sorry, I forgot to read the title. It says, Fan Theory, Rick Cronenberged the Prime Universe on purpose.
Oh.
And I think that's a great theory. In fact, I was kind of borderline thinking it myself before I found this post. Because what if he's doing it to get revenge? Because we know that he's there taking the place of Rick Prime.
Right.
Waiting for him to come back because he killed his wife, Beth's mom.
Yeah.
So he's got a great motivation to completely fuck up this guy's universe and steal his Morty.
That is true.
But
that checks out.
I guess if he wouldn't care about this Morty because he didn't take him with him, or maybe he didn't take him with him because he didn't want him to get hurt. I don't know. Food for thought. So,
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think it makes good sense that Rick could have done this on purpose?
On purpose. I actually think that kind of makes sense because, like, I hadn't, like I said, I didn't research any theories about this episode, but like just from my experience of viewing it, the whole episode, I am like judging Rick's actions and decisions very harshly.
Yeah.
In the way that I'm like really thinking, is this something that Rick would really do? Like, would he really oversee this happening and like with the major consequences that it has?
Yeah.
Like, would he really be so clueless as to not mention that the flu could be catastrophic to this? Like, so that is just evidence to me that it might have been very much
a little
on
bit
purpose.
that. What really does it for me is when he starts haphazardly throwing these serums together that are just based on
just like doesn't make sense. Like he
complete-
like on purpose was
complete
like
pseudoscience
fuck
bullshit.
it up. Yeah, just like I'm fucking this up. Like put some koala, put some cactus, put some rattlesnake. and,
Yeah.
like, of course, like no, like.
Mhm.
So it was like it's either that or this is not our Rick. You know what I'm saying? Like it's either that or this is some other Rick. Because this is stupid as fuck.
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it is possible that he's not C-137 or our Rick. Because this is too much of a turning point episode. Like, yeah, they can fuck us around and, like the Jerry Barrie episode. We've talked so much about that
Yeah.
already and we haven't even gotten there yet. That's not even until season 2, isn't it?
I think so.
But
yeah.
where they can just take us on a ride where without telling us at all, we're suddenly watching a completely different Rick and Morty, and are left to figure it out by some nerds that pay way too much attention to TV shows. Whereas,
Hi.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
well, I don't know that I would have ever figured it out. Like, really, I'm playing catch up. Major catch up here. I don't claim to be a Rick and Morty expert. I don't claim to be pioneering any of these fan theories.
No, we're just looking stuff up online
Yeah.
and like
I'm just
amplifying it,
I'm just
repeating it.
along for the
Yeah.
ride, and I've wanted to do more of a deep dive into the show, and this is a great way to motivate myself to do it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
the best opportunity to do it. Yeah.
so, and
Me
it,
too, essentially. So.
hopefully some people can enjoy riding along with us as we try and figure this crazy ass show the fuck out, you know?
Yes.
But I think that's a decent fan theory.
Yeah, I think so too.
I don't, I'm not 100% on board, but I'm about 90% on board with it. I think it's totally
Yeah.
plausible, but I think there are some minor holes in there. Like, we do have lots of other evidence of him just when he doesn't care and when he's in a depressive episode,
Yeah.
he will just throw shit together. And
Fuck shit up.
if he's been universe hopping anyway, maybe he really just didn't give a shit. But
He might have just be having a bad day. Like Rick Sanchez can have a bad day too, guys.
yeah,
It's okay.
but
Shit happen.
that being said, I am still 90% on board. It seems entirely plausible, like, with how manipulative he is
That's true. That's true.
in ways that I have to stop and think about and be like, wow, he's just naturally that manipulative. And I would have to like think 10 steps ahead to even attempt to be that manipulative. And he just does it naturally. So it makes perfect sense that he could. It's entirely possible that he was doing all of this on the fly, but still, at the end of the day, made a decision at some point in time that he was just going to let this happen and move to another universe because he saw an outcome that he liked better than staying there and waiting for Rick Prime to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's how I see it.
Okay. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
What else? Anything else about this episode?
I think I'm pretty well tapped out, and we're running pretty short on time. We've run pretty long this episode. We had a few technical problems. We'll be able to edit a lot of that out, but anybody watching the live stream or the coming back and watching the video is going to be like, oh my god.
True that. Sorry. Okay, so let's wrap it up. This was great. Thank you so much. Do you want to say the thing?
Yeah. This has been another episode of Wubba Lubba PodPod. Don't forget to review us on iTunes. Check us out on Patreon if you'd like to support us. We would love that. We are at patreon.com/Wubba Lubba PodPod. We have a few different tiers. Honestly, we still haven't 100% worked out how this is going to work, but
just go and check it out.
Yeah, we're going to give you exclusive video, live stream reminders, 20% off merch, exclusive downloadable content. We might adjust our tier prices at some point in time and adjust slightly who and when you can watch our online videos. I've been thinking about it a bit, but there's going to be some form of exclusive video, some form of exclusivity to being able to watch the streams.
Yes.
Whether before they're happening or whether while they're happening or after they're happening, we'll work it out. Anyway, you can check out our website at www.wubbalubbapod.com and or wubbalubbapodpod.com. Check out our merch store at www.beerwithbuffy.com/shop. That's our sister podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Wubba Lubba PodPod, Twitter at Wubba PodPod, TikTok at Wubba Lubba PodPod, Twitch at twitch.tv/Wubba Lubba PodPod. Podbean, Wubba Lubba PodPod, all your favorite podcast platforms, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio app, whatever. If you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can email us at wubbalubbapodpod@gmail.com. As always, big shout out to Benjamin Alexander for all our opening, closing, and transitional music.
Yay!
This has been Wubba Lubba PodPod. I'm Josh.
And I'm Alex. And yeah, see you next time, bish.
Concentrate on science, bishes.
Break the cycle. Focus on science.
That's the one.
Actually, though, because like the planet is fucked. If you didn't know, look it up. Look it up.
Yeah, science could have really helped Rick on this one.
Yeah.
It's okay. It made the show better. All right, that's it. Cutting the stream. Stopping the recording.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.